Good afternoon, this is Sean Golding with Golding & Golding, here to discuss a common question we get about the FBAR, which is just what do you do when you have 25 or more accounts? What kind of reporting is required? Do you have to fill out the entire form? Do you have to submit other documentation? Let's go through the basics. As always, as part of this presentation series, I like to start with the basics of the FBAR, foreign bank, and financial account reporting. Technically, it's FinCEN Form 114. FinCEN is the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. It's used to report more than just bank accounts. It includes bank accounts, investment accounts, securities accounts, mutual fund accounts, pensions, life insurance with surrender value or cash value. The form is filed electronically directly on the FinCEN website. It is due on April 15th, but it's currently on automatic extension, which means taxpayers have until October. A Form 4868 or 7004 extensions are not required. Now that we got the basics out of the way, let's go through about the modified reporting. Excuse me. So if a person has 25 or more signature authority or other accounts, or 25 or more accounts that they have financial interest in, then they're required to file the FBAR, but there's modified reporting, which means they don't have to fill out, I think it's parts 2 and 3 to identify all the different accounts that they have. Typically what will happen if someone has a couple of accounts, you have to report the maximum value. You have to report the foreign financial institution's name, the address, the account number. When you've got that many, instead what you're required to do is to create your own kind of informational sheet with all of that information on there. Common thought is, I'm not going to do it because I may never hear from the IRS, and that's true. But I can tell you in 3 years from now, if you get audited, the last thing you're going to want to remember is, the maximum value of accounts, which you may have closed since then. You may not be with that institution any longer. You may not have any way to recall the value. Maybe you're using a passbook account or something. So you're required to maintain the information on your own accord. So some important facts about modified reporting. It's 25 or more of either category. And the categories are you have an interest in the account or ownership, or you have signature or other authority that is not ownership. If you meet the 25 or more, for that, then you still have to report the other type of accounts if you don't meet the 25 or more for those. So if you had 10 signature accounts and 30 accounts that you own, then you may still have to do it for the other accounts. There's some kind of discrepancy and ambiguity as to whether you have to do that or not. It's also important to note that there are some exceptions to reporting, and so even if you are, let's say, an employer, corporate officer, etc., you may have 50 or 100 accounts that you are identified on in order to do signing checks and things of that nature, especially if it's a company that operates in multiple countries, and therefore the company or the entity has accounts in various different countries in order to hold local currency, and you unfortunately are signed on there. That doesn't mean that you have to necessarily do this exercise. You may qualify for an exception, an exclusion, or other limitation. If you're out of compliance for the prior year, there are various programs you can use to get into compliance. There's the Voluntary Disclosure program, which is for people who are either willful or just cannot certify under penalty of perjury that they're non-willful. If you're non-willful, there's various options available to you. There are the streamlined procedures, delinquency procedures, and reasonable cause. We have lots of free information available on our main website and our sub-websites. You can always reach out and schedule a reduced fee initial consultation if you think it's appropriate, and it's something that we handle here. Again, my name is Sean Golding with Golding & Golding. Thank you for your time. Enjoy the rest of your day.